Coming to you live from the floor, and from where I'm standing I can see you actually, as you just did the opening. Right now I'm talking to the Chief Whip of the ANC, Mr. Jackson Mthembu, and we just want to get a sense, we've been watching the rolling coverage throughout the course of this morning. You have been, thank you very much for agreeing to interview with us here at The Rock. You must have been watching this unfold throughout the morning. Just your thoughts currently and where we're finding ourselves. We are midway through that voting point.
We are quite happy with how the IEC has prepared and conducted this particular election. They are professional. Where there have been glitches, they've been very quick to deal with those glitches. As you will know, they've also fired some of their staff members who went outside of the electoral code. So we're quite happy, even though some stations opened late, but the majority of the stations throughout the country opened on time. And indeed, as you will also know, there have been queues all over the country. There are still queues even as we speak now, but we are still encouraging our people to go out and vote now so that they don't wait for the afternoon. We know that now the queues are a little bit slack. They are not that full at this point in time. So we're appealing to all our people to make use of this opportunity, because late in the evening, those queues will be chock-a-block. We are then requesting our people to use this opportunity now. But we are quite happy with the process thus far, and we'd like to thank the IEC for that.
One of the other big things that we have to look at, the ANC is really campaigning incredibly hard. And I'm sure as you're sitting here, I saw Ma'am Jessie Duarte, there must be maybe a cautious look at the outcomes as we start eventually counting that votes. But how confident are you that you've done enough ahead of today's voting to make sure that you especially keep those hotly contested metros?
As the ANC, as we went into these elections, we went with our eyes opened to win all the municipalities and metros that were governing. And we have no other intention. From where we are seated now, we are still convinced that we are going to win all the municipalities that we govern, and we are still going to win all the metros that we are governing. Asnavalo, as you will know, we have been saying this. We have seen all sorts of Ipsos remarks, so they have not let us down. Because even they themselves have changed in the last few weeks and said that, we thought that the ANC was going to lose, but we are now quite confident that the ANC is not going to lose. So as ANC, we're not let down by those polls. We're confident, and we remain confident that our people will vote for the only organization that has got a track record of bringing a better life to them.
It's a bit of a litmus test for the youth of this country. A lot of them born frees. A lot of them will be looking at some real hard issues around job creation, opportunities. And I know that there's been a concerted effort to talk to the youth, to let them understand the role that they play.
That definitely, you'll know, whilst we have people who were born in 1994, but we don't necessarily agree as ANC with this notion of born free, because the legacy of apartheid is with us even today. People are still in townships, people are still in shacks. These are what all of us inherited from the apartheid and colonial past. So those kids are still born into this unequal world that was created by the past regimes. So they know where we come from. They know that they've got to fight for their freedom. They know that they've got to protect this freedom that we got in 1994. But they know that the democracy that we are in now makes them to have opportunities that their fathers never had. So therefore, they will vote, in my view, in defense of the democracy and freedoms that we enjoy. But of course, all of us have got to do our best to ensure that our youth have got employment opportunities. That's why we have got technical colleges all over the country. That's why we have access to universities, so that our young people have the necessary skills to access the job market. But having said all that, our people and our youth in particular know there is only one organization that made it possible for them to go to the Olympics in Rio this week. One organization. Through our freedom, and that's the African National Congress and nobody else. So our youth and everybody in this country, they know the track record of giving black people their dignity back and giving black people democracy and all South Africans democracy in this country of their birth. So there is nothing like people who were born after 1994 knows nothing about the past. They know a lot about the past. They know that they've got access now to things that the past generations would not have access to. Therefore, they will protect these opportunities that they have.
I want to talk to you about the selfie phenomenon that's happening, people taking pictures of their ballots, but I want to come very quickly to something that you've mentioned, talking about the youth being aware. We're then talking about voter education, and I will argue with you a little bit that there are a lot of young people that are completely disconnected with politics in this country, disconnected with the past. Have you found that in your campaigning leading up to today that you've had to work a little bit harder amongst the younger voters than the ones that existed pre-1994?
Definitely. You know, people like me and some of you will even know through our DNA what it means to live under apartheid. We will know that. But the young people might not necessarily know what it meant. But they are still born in an unequal world. So they can still connect through this unequal world. Therefore, we needed to bring more political awareness to our young people. We needed to go to universities, you know that we have been to universities, to talk to our young people through our structures, through SASCO, through the Youth League, so that our young people should not take these freedoms that we have today for granted and think that these freedoms just came as manna from somewhere in the heavens. So yes, we had to do more for us to mobilize them, to stay the course and protect these freedoms that were so hard-earned.
Very, very quickly from you, I have to cross to Alicia, sir. The phenomenon of people taking selfies in ballot boxes and then sharing that on social media. Just a comment from you very quickly.
Well, I've not seen that, but in my view, first of all, it's illegal. Secondly, it's unlawful. Thirdly, it's unhelpful. Because whoever you vote for, that is something that comes from your heart. And you know who you have voted for. And I don't know what it then means to take a selfie and show that to anybody else. Because whoever you show, that person could have voted or is going to vote for somebody else or for another party. So it's self-defeating in my view. Because you might be showing this and posting to people who have no interest whatsoever for the party that you have voted for. So it is useless, and in my view, it's something that we should not encourage. It's something that we must discourage because it is illegal. In fact, the cell phones are not supposed to be in the voting booths. That's what the IEC has advised all of us. And it is anti our electoral code for anybody to take their voting ballot through a cell phone.
So we're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for talking to me. Of course, Mr. Jackson Mthembu, just sharing his thoughts leading up to today's election, but also kind of just sharing sentiments of what this day actually means and the work that's been put in by the ANC. Let's go to Alicia, who's standing by. I know she's got to cross to the Western Cape.